Yo, so we're here with
At the
Brandon.
crib.
Yeah, we're about to hit
Chest day.
at Planet Fitness.
With biceps.
Oh my gosh.
And shoulders.
And shoulders.
Oh my god.
Best sessions of the week. Yes, that's sensational. That is sensational. I think I deserve a cookie for that. I've been a good boy. I deserve to eat a cookie. The bulk never stops.
The bulk never stops.
Never. uh,
How was that?
I was in the gym sometime last year. It must have been like my third month in the gym. I'm in the gym, I'm doing like some shrugs. I'm doing shrugs for my upper traps and my neck. This guy who looks like a power lifter comes up to me. He's like one of the main people in the gym, maybe like the owner of the gym or some shit. He comes up to me and he's like, "Are you new to the gym?" I'd been lifting for like 2-3 months at that point. And I'm like, "No, I've been in the gym a little bit, I've done a little bit of lifting before." And he's like, "What's that for?" Right? And he was talking about the shrugs I was doing. He's like, "What does that do?" And I tell him, it's like shrugs, so the upper traps. And I'm pointing, I didn't even know that they were called like upper traps or anything. So I'm like, it's for these, the muscles. And he's laughing. He's literally just having a laugh, kind of like mocking me a little bit. And he's like, "You know what? Go do the bench press over there. Go lift like the bench press, the barbell. And then find me after you've done like 3 sets of those. And I'll show you like the other exercises to do." So he's kind of being nice in a way. Like, actually, he wants to show me like the exercises. But in my mind, he made it seem like it's the most outrageous, atrocious thing that I was doing upper traps. Like literally, I was training the upper traps, just like one of the most aesthetic muscles you can train, right? I do the barbell, the bench press, I do like 2-3 sets. And as I'm doing my sets, right, in between my sets, I'm looking over across the gym and there's the guy and his friends over there. They are doing like 1 rep max for bench press as well, right? So they're just going adding on weights and doing like 1 rep max, right? And the thing that I find most interesting about it is that these guys, they've been training for years. Like clearly they've been training for years. They're all big and they have like the power lifter build. They've been training for like 4 or 5 years, but none of them have a physique that I can look up to and say, "You know what, that's a physique that I want to have after 5 years." If you tell me like if you told me at that point, after 5 years you're going to look like that, I would instantly quit the gym because I didn't want to look like anything like that. They're like the build that Ankh from Diamond Gym has. That power lifter build where you're like big, you have a big like torso, you have a big belly, and you're like you can tell like you're strong, but you're like high body fat, and you just have like this power lifter build, right? I wanted that lean aesthetic V-taper build, right? The one that females find super sexy. That's the build that I wanted, right? And I'll be the first to tell you, right? My whole conviction, my whole goal to going to the gym was to build an aesthetic physique specifically to get female attention, right? I just wanted to get more girls. That's why I went to the gym, right? And people might think, this is shallow. You don't go to the gym. You should go for yourself. You should go for your health. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck, right? I went to the gym specifically to build the aesthetic physique, right? So I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, you know what? Surely I don't want to have a physique like that after 4 or 5 years. And even though like this guy, he's mocking me for doing my shrugs, right? At least like from what I know, the shrugs are part of the muscles that will give you the aesthetic taper physique, right? The aesthetic physique, right? So I was just pissed that day. I went back home. I didn't even finish off the exercise because now I'm just thinking, you know what, if I go back to doing the traps now, it's like I look goofy and these guys are going to be laughing and it's whatever, right? It's a whole thing. I go back home. Fast forward, now I've been training for like over a year now. So I've been training for like a year, 2 months, right? Now I actually have the aesthetic physique, right? I've got an aesthetic physique, and the things that I did to build the aesthetic physique are the exact things that this guy was telling me not to do, right? So I'll tell you the muscles that are central or like that are pinnacle to the aesthetic physique, right? So you know, if you look at a girl, you know, the girls that you find most attractive are the girls that are like curvy. They have like the curves, right? They have like a round ass, boobs, whatever, and like slim waist, right? So they have like the hourglass shape, right? For guys, the equivalent of that is the V taper, and the V taper is basically like you have a small waist, you have wide lats, wide shoulders, like broad shoulders, right? So your whole physique looks like a V like that, right? That's like the equivalence of that, right? And to build that physique where you looks like a V and like your shoulders are much wider than your waist, you have to train a specific group of muscles, right? So these muscles are what I call the 7 aesthetic muscles. These muscles are neck, upper traps, lateral delts, upper chest, abs and obliques, and then obviously the lats, which are the most important, right? So the lats are the ones that give you like the size and make you appear wider, like have the V taper, and also the lateral delts, right? So these are like the 7 aesthetic physique. These are the center of my training, and I train these like I prioritize these in basically all my workouts, right? So I've been training these muscles. I've been building up these muscles and making them more aesthetic, building them up more and more, right? Now I have the aesthetic physique, and I look back and think, you know what? If you're doing this bench press, these deadlifts, bench press, what's the other one? Squats and shit like that, right? If you're doing these exercises, you've heard the quote like going to the gym only gets you attention from men and not females. This is the reason. It's because you're training these muscles that don't add on to your aesthetics. They just give you strength, and then they build a little bit of muscle as well, but they don't add on to like the V tape or the aesthetic physique, right? That's where the main issue is, right? So to build up the aesthetic physique, I've already given you the muscle groups that I train, and also at the same time I'll just quickly run through like the exercises that I do for these muscle groups as well, in case you wanna do the exact muscle groups. You can always just like watch my other videos that I've posted about the same topic, right? So for neck, you do like shrugs, the shrugs that I was doing, and the guy was laughing. For neck, you do narrow grip shrugs. For upper trap, you do wide grip shrugs. For shoulders, you do like lateral raises, and then you'd also have your military press in there. And then for upper chest, you have an incline movement. So the incline movement could vary. I like to do the incline dumbbell press, but you could also have like incline Smith, you could have incline something, just an incline movement, right? That would build the upper part of your chest, right? And the upper chest is super important. This whole region is super important, like the upper chest, the lats, and the neck, right? This whole region up here is super important. The more developed this whole region looks, like the thicker it looks up here, the more attractive you look and the more aesthetic you look. Like, you know, like no one even trains neck, like to mention that as a side point. No one even trains neck in the gym, right? And it's one of the most crucial muscles you should be training, right? So that's upper chest, and then you have the lateral delts. I already explained those. And then abs and obliques, you have your crunches, your leg raises, your rotisserie twists, I think they're called, or some shit like that. And then obviously you've got your lats, and you have your pull downs and your rows for that, right? That's like basically the exercises you'd do to develop these muscles, right? So that's a quick rundown of what I've been doing in the past year, 2 months, right? It's basically just been centered around these muscles alone, and I've just been training these muscles and been building specifically these muscles that I mentioned for the aesthetic physique, right? And again, Going to the gym, your motive might be, I want to build strength, I want to do whatever, right? Tomfoolery, right? But if you want to have aesthetics, right, just focus on these muscle groups and you'll be able to build up the aesthetic physique.